Hey, I'm Boomy, and I'm just going to talk to you about my placement for my module sports development in action, TL2131. Just a bit about what I got to do. So I got to complete 30 hours in a sports development sector. So I'm actually completing mine with Bolton Council for the sports and active living. I chose this as it's quite local to me, as I'm based in Bolton, so travel wouldn't be an issue, as I could just walk there or drive there. I would probably drive there, as I'll be completing 2 schools. I'll be doing one school in the morning and another school in the afternoon. 2 schools are a huge contrast of each other. So one school's have a lot of different ethnic minorities. My mentor said they are not very well behaved, they're not very disciplined, not all of them speak very good English. Whereas the other school are very disciplined, and very few ethnic minorities all speak very good English and are very well behaved. So obviously, in them 2 schools, behaviour management is going to be a key aspect for me to be able to keep the children under control. So as we'll go on talking about my expectations from the placement, it's important for me to be able to manage the behaviour between both schools. But obviously in different ways, because obviously one school is well behaved, whereas the other school is not very well behaved. So how will I tackle this situation is very important for me to know before I go. So a bit about my placement. As I said, I'm doing it for the Bolton Council with the Sport and Active Living. The Sport and Active Living provide sports for the community or schools. In this case, I'm working with primary school children delivering PE lessons. So the coaches from Bolton Council go into schools delivering PE lessons. So these coaches are paid. They're paid to bring them in and provide 40 lessons for primary school children. But it can be used in various ways to upskill children and upskill teachers. They go through a CPD course. But the Sport and Active Living isn't just for primary school children. As I've mentioned, it's for all ages, so it can go to teenage children, so Bolton Lads and Girls Club, leisure centre, so all adults, and obviously delivering PE lessons, so children. I'm going to be delivering to Key Stage 1 and 2. That's a bit about my placement. So if we move on to what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the organisation, some local and national strategies, and obviously at the end I'll end with the expectations that the placement have of me, or from me. So when I say the organisation, I mean what are their aims? Local strategies can link into school club links. National strategies could be like your primary school sport funding, NGBs, and I will touch on a couple more things. And also I'd like to touch on how the Olympic and Paralympic have an impact on young children in sport. And expectations is just how I will be professional and what will make me professional and what the placements of Bolton Council expects from me, as I will be representing University of Central Lancashire and the Bolton Council. Okay, so a bit about the organisation. To begin with, the Sport and Active Living aims to just increase and make the environment a healthy environment. This is through having more people and as many young people participating in sport as soon as possible. As mentioned, these are paid employees brought into the school through the use of their funding to deliver lesson plans and lessons. They're trying to increase sport, so through delivering fun, effective, creative lesson plans, the children will want to join a club for enjoying a particular sport. For example, they might deliver a boxing lesson, which has been done in the past. The children enjoy it to an extent to want to join a club and participate on a regular basis. This can be done through the local club links that these coaches have and that are provided to the school. They should have a list of local club links which can be accessed very quickly to link the children to the local clubs in that local area or the local area they live in. So moving on to their aims, and we've touched on this, one of their key aims is to increase participation, which we've already touched on. How will they increase participation by delivering lessons? Well, as we have already mentioned, like the children may enjoy that particular sport, but so by making it fun, creative, effective, efficient, innovative, because you don't know how many students or children you're going to have. This can be adapted and made enjoyable for the children to then say they want to join a club in this particular sport on a regular basis. Another aim is to develop a club and group network. So this is linking back into participation, is linking into your club links that can be provided, such as if you're doing cricket in the Bolton area, there are various cricket clubs that can be suggested to the children or their parents and guardians. So for example, if one went to Bolton Parish Church School, which is a primary school in Bolton, so requested clubs could be Bolton Indians Cricket Club, Great Lever Cricket Club, Astley Bridge Cricket Club, it's quite local, Astley Bridge, maybe Heaton Cricket Club. All these are clubs that are quite local to that school. There's obviously a lot more on the other side of town, but it's all very dependent on where the student lives. But the idea is that there's options available and a list of clubs available to recommend to the children. Another aim is to promote and develop an enthusiastic workforce. This is done by obviously the coaches coming in, delivering fun, enjoyable, creative lessons. It's very important for them to do this, to create opportunities and opportunities for the work colleagues, to upskill them, and this is done through an enthusiastic workplace. So the facilities could be the aims, so the use of the facilities and how effectively it's used. So the funding that's received from the primary school funding can be used in several ways. If it's used for bringing in coaches to deliver PE sessions and lessons, then maybe it's upskilling the PE lessons, the PE teachers, and the school teachers, the staff, to use the equipment they have in many different ways. Okay, so you can use one equipment, but several ideas can be used to make it creative using the same equipment. Different games can be used and played. So yeah, these are aims that I found on the Bolton Council website, Sport in England 2016. So when I say club links, this means an accreditation is given to a local club. So it's an accreditation scheme that's given. So if they have a first aid, if they have a safeguarding, a CRB, adequate qualifications, then they're given an acknowledgement. When this acknowledgement is given, the Bolton Council coaches, instructors, mentors feel that the club's links that have been provided to schools are safe environments for the children to be recommended to. So if we move on to the local strategies. So the local strategies could be like the schools. So inter-school competitions and festivals. also like the different sports that can be delivered through these coaches that are paid to brought in. For example, Wheels for All is sports that emphasise disability sport, which is not done very often in primary schools. Wrestling, rugby union, kind of gymnastics. These are all irregular sports that probably wouldn't be done in schools with the PE and the school staff, but they all increase the fundamental skill, movement skills for a child. For example, agility, balance, coordination. For example, when boxing is delivered, this sport develops agility, balance, coordination. Also, delivering coaches coming in delivering lessons means lesson plans from the coaches that can be used by the staff at the school, or CPD schemes such as these can upskill teachers. It's a scheme of work that can be printed up and used in their lessons. So they can use this for quality PE lessons. So schools are given a primary school funding that's directly given to the PE teacher, the head teacher. Sorry. So the primary school funding is directly given to the head teacher, and the head teacher decides where this funding is being used. So it can be used to call coaches from the Bolton Council in to deliver PE lessons. It can be used towards new equipment. It can be used towards training the current staff at the school instead of calling in other coaches to deliver sessions. So national governing has an initiative to improve PE. So we've touched on Club Mark. It's an accreditation scheme given based on making sure the environment's safe. There's a CRB, there's adequate qualifications, first aid, safeguarding. They make sure, basically, if you're recommending a club to a school student, you feel safe or the Bolton Council coach to send them and recommend that club to them. Sports are recognised, so for example the Bolton Arena, Bolton Lads and Girls Club, the Leisure Centre, Bolton Leisure Centre are all places and agencies that can be used and recommended to the children, not just for one particular sport but for multi-skill sports. So yeah, these are the local strategies that are available. If moving on to the national strategies. The national strategies could be the primary school sport funding from the Sports England and the government. They are given a lump of sum, and this should adequate 2 PE lessons per week for the children. Again, this funding can be used to bring in staff to deliver lessons, or maybe to use towards training to train the current staff there, used on equipment. These are quite a few things that the funding can be used on. There's a Bolton Council school scheme of work. So basically, when they're coming in delivering these lessons, they're matching the scheme of work, matching the curriculum. So basically, by this I mean that if the school at that current point are doing dancing, they will not come in and just deliver boxing. They will stick with the scheme of work, but make it more creative, using a creative approach, making it fun, enjoyable in their own way. So they're providing lessons that are fun, progressive, challenging. The lesson plans that they provide are very easy to follow and use. So using the creative approach, the lesson plans created by them are very easy to follow. So if you had a look online, the Bolton Council School Scheme of Work provide plenty of over 450 lesson plans, as the Bolton Council website say, towards helping current PE staff towards delivering effective PE lessons. So expectations from me. As mentioned, I will be going to 2 schools, helping out the Bolton Council. We've also mentioned how there are 2 different contrasts. I'll be teaching Key Stage 1 and 2, so primary school children. For me, it's very important to be confident. Obviously, I mentioned behaviour management. I think being confident, the choice of words that I use. So obviously, I am currently doing a placement in a secondary school, so it'll be interesting to see the use of language for me between secondary school students and Key Stage 1 and 2 students. So that will be a massive challenge in itself for me. Also, I've been told that, and it's not an observation, this work placement is for me to get involved and really stuck in and help them out. So helping out with the behaviour management, not just leaving it to my mentor, maybe really stepping in and putting my foot down on some of them. But when this comes down to behaviour management and how I'm going to manage behaviour and go about it, again, from secondary school to primary school, it will vary in a choice of language. And language doesn't mean we were using swear words. For example, it could be counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then making sure they're all in and quiet. In secondary school, you could just blow the whistle and they would come in. Or year 11, you could just say, "Okay, girls, come in," and they should come in pretty soon. So just simple things as such. That's just a very basic example. So yeah, one of my expectations is to get involved, not sit on my heels. I could be sent away with a little group to obviously do the task that would be currently being delivered. So, for example, if we're doing cricket, I could be sent away with half of them doing the same skill as what the other mentor was doing, but obviously it's easier to work in smaller groups and to convey the information. I've also been allowed to go into the office and to have a look at the paperwork that is completed, identify the office work that is completed, the type of things that are needed to be done for for delivering lessons, or how a lesson plan's structured. So when they're delivering these lesson plans, when they're delivering it, I could identify how it's being structured. Also, how the local links are created and how they've been communicated, and the national links, how the Bolton Council are funded or how the schools are funded and who makes these decisions, are all things I can identify in the office. Thank you.